Did you know that personal memoirs are the least profitable, worst selling books on the planet? Okay, now that that started to sink in a little bit, don't click away from this video because there is in fact a way to tell your personal story and make it be really interesting, entertaining, educational, and worthwhile as a read beyond just your mom, your kids, your brother, your aunt, your cousin, your grandkids, that one colleague you used to have. What we can do as professionals in this business, the world of publishing and book writing, is take your story and repackage it, retell it in such a way that it is a page turner like nothing else. In case we haven't met before, I'm Joshua Lisec. I'm the world's only award-winning, celebrity-recommended, #1 international best-selling certified professional ghostwriter. I've ghostwritten over 40 books in the last 8 years. And let me tell you a little something about that. Many of them have been memoirs that when the author came to me, they said, hey, I want to share my story, my experiences, my life lessons, but I want people to buy it who don't know me. How do we make that happen? This right here is how you make it happen. So here's how you're going to structure your memoir, write your memoir in such a way that it's actually interesting. What we're going to be able to do is tell your story as if it's a novel. The best memoirs are episodes. They're not an entire autobiography. Oh, I woke up, I was born here, blah, 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 my mom, my kids, my dad, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I liked to play this when I was a kid. No, none of that. A memoir follows the same structure that all best-selling fiction does, the 3-act story structure. And what we want to do is have there be a lesson to your life. You are the protagonist in this story, right? So what was the great illumination or enlightenment or adventure that you went on in a certain season of your life that you really want to make be the focus of this? Now, what we can do is we can always have there be flashbacks and flash forwards to different seasons of your life. But to have a memoir that's engaging, that can go in a different book category, maybe lessons on business or lessons on health or finance or technology or philosophy or relationships or family or whatever your area of expertise actually is, where you want to sell a whole lot of copies of your book, we use a 3-act story structure. So the beginning, Act 1, the setup. Who are you? What's going on? What was the period of your life? The inciting incident right here. This is that event that you could say was what bent the twig in this direction, and so the branch grew in that direction. What was that event that started it all for you? You know what that is. Second thoughts. This is where, for one reason or another, you backed away from the calling, from confronting the consequences, either of the consequences that or of the action, the outcomes, the results from your decision, maybe someone else's decision. If your story is one of crisis and overcoming issues in life, possibly abuse, possibly there is some severe experiences that you had that you're even now only beginning to be comfortable talking about. You know what those second thoughts were. Maybe you didn't want to tell anyone. The climax is the decision. I'm going on this adventure. I'm going to make this happen. Now, the obstacles, of course, as you can see, there's 3 here in the Act 2, which is confrontation. You going on the quest here. If you're a veteran, these are the obstacles that you were deployed at this place in time. You feel uncomfortable. You were ambushed. What were the obstacles that were in your way to go from where you were to where you wanted to be? Maybe experience healing. Maybe there was remission, and then the cancer went into remission, and the cancer came back. The midpoint, the big twist, is that unexpected event that happened. Maybe it was a relationship that came out of nowhere, or a relationship fell apart, or there was a financial windfall. There was a financial catastrophe. All sorts of different experiences you've had in your life can fit the 3-act story structure. So what we're not doing is telling everything about your life in chronological order. Rather, what we are doing is we're coming along and we are saying, hey, what are those events in your life, those experiences, the relationships that best fit what we know in the industry creates a compelling narrative. And then we're telling your story, we're shaping it, we're structuring your story to make sure it matches all of that. The rest here are pretty self-explanatory. I'll just get here to the very end to talk about what the very end is. This is where you became the person that you are today. You know exactly what that means. You don't need me to tell you or to guess. So if you're seeing all this stuff here on screen, obstacle, disaster, crisis, what's the denouement, the wrap-up? What's the climax of Act 3? What's the difference between the climaxes of Act 2 and 3? What even is a climax? Is that a naughty word? Should this be not safe for work? If these are the questions that you're asking yourself, all you have to do to get the professional perspective for no cost, for myself, as this ghostwriter and guy who's written many memoirs, all you have to do is go click the link in the comments below. What we'll have is a free strategy session where we together talk through the 3-act structure. What are those events and experiences and episodes in your life that best fit what we know works to sell a whole lot of copies of a book, rather than try to sell a boring autobiography that no one's going to buy? My job is to make you as successful as an author, that means financially successful, as possible, and this is one of the tools of my trade to help you have this be a high return on investment experience. So click the link below and let's talk about the 3-act structure and your book.